Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel, and in this video we're going to have a look at expectations versus idealization. So when we're actually creating anything in our life, and outside of conscious manifesting, but goals or anything like that, we will create this kind of idealized image of how we think it should be, what time it should come at, and how things should unfold. And when we create this idealized image, our expectations become this kind of grounding and kind of connection to what it is we're idealizing. And so what I mean by this is that every time we look at our expectations, we, rather than thinking about who we are in our values and what beliefs and everything that we may hold, we will place our expectations on a high level of this idealized package of what it is that we are creating. And when we kind of confuse it in this way, we will not be, our minds won't be open to the greatness of the abundance of what it is that we are creating in a way that it will kind of, it will attract, you will attract whatever it is that you are creating into your life or manifesting, but you may not actually see it in a way that you may not perceive it as this thing, because your expectations will always be thinking about this idealized image. And so you could literally be manifesting maybe this great relationship, for instance, and you could have all of the things that you desire to have in this relationship, and you could have this idealized image of how it's going to come, what the person's going to look like, and you could have all of these specifics on what it is that you are creating. And then this great person could come along with all of the qualities, and they could look the part and everything like that. But because your expectation may have had blue eyes instead of brown eyes, for instance, you won't see them as the person that was for you, if that makes sense. So when we are want to create something, it's not that we don't want to have expectations for ourselves and what it is that we create. We can attract exactly what it is that we want. However, we have to look at who we are first in a way that we really want to get authentic with ourselves and identify the values that mean something to us. We also want to identify, our beliefs that may have caused us to not create what it was that we wanted in the past. And while we don't have to go on a big healing journey, if we are someone who has created an undesirable pattern, we do want to take accountability in the sense that we really want to look at why this pattern was created, and we want to change it into a better pattern of what we truly, truly want. And when we do that, it takes a couple of weeks to identify limiting beliefs and to start kind of working through them. And the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because, recently I kind of had a first-hand experience where I kind of saw, from an emotional, I suppose, intellect of how a person was actually describing everything that they wanted, and then a person showed up with everything that they wanted, but they rejected it unconsciously to themselves because they had these other expectations of how this idealized person was supposed to come. So it's not that you can't actually attract exactly what it is that you want. Of course you can, but sometimes we can get so specific on what it is that we are creating that we are failing to see the abundance in the universe. This universe and this world is built on abundance. Everything is always increasing, it's always evolving. And so whatever it is that you desire, you can have, and you're not taking it from anyone else. There is plenty for everybody, but also the specifics that are for you will be there for you, and there'll be nothing you can do to stop that. So it's getting into that kind of realization that, yes, I want this particular relationship. Yes, I want this particular look, or I want this particular chemistry, or all of these kind of specifics that I want. But at the same time, I am going to go with what I really truly value about myself. I'm going to create boundaries that I'm going to stick to. and I'm going to be more self-aware, and I'm going to be more emotionally in tuned to myself, so that when this person or whatever shows up, my mind will be open to it, and it will see exactly the expectations that I had, but it won't be in an idealized form, because it's abundance. It can come in so many different ways. So I wanted to create a video of that because I was inspired by this kind of example that I kind of witnessed, and I thought that we are, because we're human, we all have these tendencies to idealize how things should come, and how the process and the timing and all of this type of thing, without really understanding that there are like the world is limitless, the universe is limitless, and that there are idealized ways that we may not even perceive, because we may not have experienced it in that way before. Maybe we are somebody who has not had favorable a favorable pattern when it comes to creating this kind of area of our life. And so in order to actually get into the favorable and to have our minds open up to what it is that we want, we do want to look at ourselves first, and we want to know that everything that we are looking for in someone else, or in anything in our life, in money or whatever like that, we want to go within, and we want to build those kind of values for ourselves first, and we want to identify the beliefs, and we want to kind of have that self-awareness about ourselves first, and then it's kind of going to become more effortless for us to see it when it actually shows up. Because a lot of the time, everything that you want can even be just right there in front of you, but because we are so limited in our perception, we won't see it in the visible form, or we won't accept it. We'll unconsciously reject it, because it's not showing up in a way that we think that it should show up, for instance. And the best way to actually always have your mind open is to look at ourselves first. Self-awareness, our values, and particularly boundaries as well too, that you may not have stood by before. You want to be getting really clear on these for your safety, for your mentality, and for how you want to progress in your reality as well too. There is nothing more kind of secure for your nervous system than having good solid boundaries that you can actually identify and you can actually stick to. It's like anything in life, when it comes to even jobs and things like that, the policies, the procedures, like everything works and advances because of these kind of policies and procedures. We know the routine, we know what we have to go back to in order to create a good working environment. So it's the same for every other area of our life. Excuse me, our health, our relationships, our finances. There has to be kind of boundaries in these areas in order for us to create exactly what we want. And when we have boundaries, the right ones will remain, and the wrong ones then will gently fade away. And so that is kind of the mantra then that we actually would be, adhering to when we actually commit ourselves to be consistent with ourselves, our values and our boundaries, and what is important to us and what truly matters to our nervous system and our soul and our authenticity as well too. So I just thought I'd do a quick video on that. And of course, if you have any questions, you can comment down below, and I will chat to you soon.